expect that to come up. Google could get that to come up.
Right.
No, it can't be that easy. That's ridiculous. So now I'm relying on the fact that my the QA person says, well, it happened at around this time, if that helps.
Oh.
I guess it helps, but now I have to manually read each one of these stupid log entries, which apparently they're somewhat well formatted, but it is just dumb.
No, I've never even heard of it. Never heard of it. So Loggly is a app is a plugin.
No, it's a SaaS website apparently. So it's some software as a service. So it's a Loggly.com, Loggle or ly.com, Loggly, and it's something that you can put some configuration in your application, and it'll just start grabbing like the system logs and the application logs and this, that, and the other, and before you know it, you're like, oh, something went wrong. Well, I'll go to Loggly and see what that was.
Okay.
It's only this much better than actually going in, logging, SSHing into it. And they have this because, as companies lock down, access to servers because, that's the secure thing to do. Don't give contractors access to a server. God forbid they need to go in and grep a log.
Right.
So services like this pop up to solve that problem.
Yeah.
And because, the interwebs and you get other product people involved, now everything's got to turn into, instead of just having a simple set of functionality to search a stream of text, you got to have charts and every other, damn thing that's out there.
Right.
So now everything is just completely useless.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm late to the call. All that to be said of why I was 15 minutes late.
No, that's no problem. I figured that's what you were. I figured you were busy doing something. That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. What time is it there for you?
It is 2:14.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're still a couple hours away from wrapping up the day.
Yeah, right. So this is just taking some time out, and of course, this blows up just as I'm, just
that's
as
how it goes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, without fail, so Wednesdays. So yesterday is it's every other Wednesday that I go out to Lansing and take Mason to Lansing for the Police Explorers. Other than that, I could work. I mean, aside from dinner generally being ready about 6, I could work all night without no problem. And just like you said, without fail, it's that Wednesday when I have to leave here at 4:30 to get him out there on time. Something happened. Oh, can we have a quick meeting? Well, it's 4:20. You know what I mean? Well, I tell you, it's 4:15, and I've told you that I'm out at 4:30 every other Wednesday. Well, this shouldn't be long. Yeah, but without fail, it's that. And every other day, nothing. I could leave at noon.
Oh yeah, no one would be the wiser.
And nothing bad happens. Everything is done by noon. Nothing. Everything's fine. Yeah, but it's that every other Wednesday that I should be here until 7.
So you just got back from England. How's the motherland?
Oh, it's terrific. It was really nice, actually. So when I was young, maybe a little younger than my kids, maybe 8 or 9. When I used to go with my parents. We did nothing, right? We would just sit at my relative's house, my grandma and grandpa, both sides, my aunt and uncle. We would just sit and do nothing for 3, sometimes 2 or 3 weeks of vacation. So that's my memory of being young. So I said, well, I don't want that, right? So we worked pretty hard. We were kind of, for the most part, 10-hour days. We did about 1,500 miles of driving and walking, and we saw tons of basically anything that you can think of in England, anything big that you would think to name. We did go and see it, So most of London we saw. I saw a couple castles. We went to Stonehenge. We went to the cliffs of Dover, which was pretty nice. So lots of stuff. It's actually and as far as driving goes, I rented a car, And as you know, it's the steering wheel's on the other side, and then you drive on the other side. And I was 99% fine. The one incident was before I'd even put it into park for the first time. Like I picked up the rental and we went to the hotel. And as I was pulling into the hotel, I got a hold of some fence on the passenger side. So that's the left side.
Yep.
And the fence happened to be all steel with like I don't know, it must have been screws or something that was sticking out of the fence. So I mean, really, I did quite a bit of damage to that passenger side of the vehicle.
So you got the insurance and.
Well, no, I don't get insurance to the rental company, but my credit card does. So I actually just got an email today that said when you turned in your car, there was some damage that wasn't there when you picked it up. We're calculating the costs, and we'll let you know. So I've never done it. I've never had to make a claim before like that. So I assume I'll just send it to my credit card and say, "Here you go," and they'll pay it.
I don't know. When we went to Ireland a few years ago, and same type of deal. You're driving on the wrong side of the road,
right.
and I didn't have that problem, but someone in our party borrowed the car and went to the nearest town to pick up some groceries or whatnot. And I don't know what it is about England and Ireland and just Europe, but everything is smaller.
Because the buildings were built like in the 1100s.
Right.
Now they're trying to fit two cars in between them.
It's built for horse and carriages, or knights coming by with swords.
Right, just one guy on a horse.
But yes, and I don't know how they do it, but they park on both sides of the road, and so the person that had borrowed the car, they same situation with you. They were fine on because you're always more mindful on your side.
Yeah,
but you clip the mirror on the other side of the car on some other parked car or whatnot. No real damage to be said. It was the mirror flopped in and maybe some scratches, but we didn't have to file a claim or anything. But yeah, that's a pretty common.
They're good at it, and they the other drivers, they know when you should be going and when when they should go, and they seem to have kind of an agreed upon thing, and that's that's the one. So one part of it. The other part is my panic. My panic steer is right. You know what I mean?
It's almost like if you're playing a video game, and you're trying to fly the helicopter or whatnot, and all of a sudden your controls get inverted.
Correct.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, everything is fine if I have time to think. If I'm at an intersection, and I have time to think. But and the other tricky part is that so they have all the same types of interchanges that we do, plus the roundabout, plus just some like real weird right of way type rule. So it's. But no, like I said, it's pretty good. Did you drive when you were in Ireland?
I did, and we ended up driving quite a bit. We drove all over that country and had a good time. I only had that one incident, but kind of harrowing when you first pick it up and you go to the airport or whatnot. Right outside the airport in County Shannon, you're immediately faced with several roundabouts.
Yeah,
and they don't take it easy on the foreigners coming in. They make you dive right into that stuff.
Yeah. So do you so you're like, well, shoot, do I signal before the roundabout left for the first exit? Am I signal? So there's all those things that I'm trying to learn.
I was just my first time going around an Irish roundabout was really just I was super hyper focused on making sure that I go around it the correct direction.
So don't turn right into it.
I figured I figured that the signaling can work itself out so long as I'm going the correct way.
Right. But like I said, other than that one thing, and we were barely moving. I was just trying to get into a little parking lot. But other than that, it went pretty well. And
parallel parking is a bit different.
So they're like you mentioned, the parking on both sides of the road. They do not care which way they're facing. Like here, we face the correct way, which messes you up even more. So you're trying to keep track of it's, so you really have enough room for maybe two cars, but
Maybe.
but there's already half, a half and a half, and you're driving down the center. So, and they're all facing either way. It's hard to know which, when someone is coming, do you duck, you're supposed to duck into that left side to let them go by on your right.
Well, and I haven't driven in England. So when I was there, I was in college, and we just took trains and tour buses or whatnot. But in Ireland, getting out and just driving from place to place. I mean, most of these roads were only this much better than a fancy driveway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're just they're tiny, they're barely paved.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not paved at all.
Sometimes grass in the center.
Sometimes there's grass in the center, which is kind of nice because and now you know which side to drive on.
Right.
But otherwise it's like, oh shit, there's a herd of sheep and an oncoming car. Well, who do I yield for?
Right. Funny you mentioned that. Yeah, we did run into that too. So there's actual sheep in the road.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not afraid of car. They're used to it. The sheep are used to it. They're not afraid.
Exactly.
So, but no, we had a pretty good time. We drove around quite a bit. Like I said, did quite a bit of sightseeing, and we pre-purchased a lot of our vouchers. So which was good financially as well. So I had already kind of paid for all of our entrance admissions, to everything. So and then when we got there, we just had to show them. So I wasn't, we weren't like paying for lunch, dinner, and all these vouchers, because everything is about between like 18 and 25 pounds each person to get in.
Which isn't cheap. I mean, that's 40 to $50.
Right. Yeah. So and there's 5 of us, so 5 people, it's 100 pounds to get into something. So I mean, it's about $160 per thing, right? I mean, to get into Stonehenge, that is $160. It's kind of.
I had no idea that Stonehenge charged admission. Were you able to get right up to the Saracen stones, or
not like in National Lampoon's European Vacation?
Yeah. So you had to stay on that little pathway, and there's the stones, 25 meters away.
Yeah.
Take a picture if you have really good zoom, but otherwise, screw you. There are stones.
That was, I think Stonehenge might have been our busiest tourist spot of all the places that we visited.
Sure.
Stonehenge was, downtown London was obviously very busy, but Stonehenge, the funny thing was, and I think I took a couple pictures of it, but almost no one there was facing the stones. They were facing the other way, and they were taking selfies.
No.
So,
and I guess I can totally understand that, but 10 years ago, that wouldn't have, you wouldn't have seen that. You would have seen people actually talking with strangers, saying, "Hey, can you take a picture of us?"
Right, exactly.
Actually interacting.
Yeah.
And now you just have all these douches with a selfie.
Yeah. Well, although I like to take them. I'll take them with everyone in them. So I'll get the whole family in and hold it up and take selfies like that. And
that's fine.
Yeah, I think so, because I'm like, well, I could turn and get a picture of Stonehenge, but there's much more qualified photographers than me. I could go buy a better picture.
Oh yeah, I mean they have better postcards.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or you just buy a poster or whatever.
Right.
Because those guys are actually allowed to get right up close to the stones.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I was we visited my aunt and uncle in the north, and when I was up there, was it there? I don't remember. Maybe someone else said it. Someone else that we ran into on our trip was like, I have pictures of when I was a kid up laying on the stones. So, I mean, maybe 15 years ago, we could get right up to them.
Yeah, I think that when we went there, it must have been 2001. It was just before 9/11 that we went to, because it's my junior year of college. So 2000, maybe spring 2001, and they had limited access. So there were certain like days or weeks or, a certain time period where you could go pay
Oh.
admission and get right to the stones. I don't know if they still do that or not, but I was
There
going to
was
look into that.
something about, yeah, you could pay for special, but where we got to was just fine. There's no,
Yeah.
I don't see any reason to get any closer. But yeah, but I mean, it was actually really good. We was Buckingham Palace. We went on a ghost tour. It was on this bus in London. And that was pretty cool. That was pretty fun. So we did they drove us around, and there was a narrator, and she was like, "This is where so and so died, and the statue is
Oh yeah.
this person," and stuff like that. So yeah, that was pretty cool too.
Was that the ghost tour of London? Yes.
Well, there's like 3 or 4 different ones. So there's ones where you can walk, and ones where you do other things. This one was an old double-decker bus that we were
nice. We did a Jack the Ripper walking tour.
Oh, okay,
that was pretty.
That one too. I bet that was good.
Yeah, that was quite a bit of fun.
Because really, there's a lot of areas. Probably you know it better. You went in them, but there's a lot of areas where you can kind of imagine stuff like that happening. Like, I mean, kind of dark, small alleys that are, no one's in.
Oh yeah, and in fact, that night, it was me and a college friend, a female college friend, that we took this Jack the Ripper walking tour. And remember, this is back in early 2001.
Yep.
No, it must have been November 2000.
Oh.
But anyway, so it was kind of cold, rainy, obviously, and in England. So we go on this, and in order to get the maximum scare factor, they always do these things at night, rain or shine, whatever. So we're walking around. It's cold, dreary, and foggy, and it's great. Then we miss our tube to get back to the hotel. So we took a double-decker bus.
Okay.
And not really understanding how to read the reading the tube map is confusing at first, but you can quickly get used to it.
Yeah.
I am convinced that no one actually knows how to read the bus schedule.
Right. You just learn it. This bus I get on here.
Right. You just learn it, and it's rote memory, and you pray for the best. Well, unfortunately, because that's the learning process, it's prone to user error up. So it's late. It's the last bus, and it hits the end of the line. The end of the line is right at a graveyard. It'd be a big cemetery, like in Gamify Park. Who in the hell thinks that's a great spot to have hey, last bus stop right here at the cemetery?
Right.
Take your
right.
Yeah. So here we are. We we have to get off the bus and right out in front of the cemetery, and we're like, oh, it's raining, it's cold. We just went through this whole Jack the Ripper spiel. Like, we're going to die in London. We're going to be ghosts. And so we're walking down the street and sidewalk, just trying to figure out where we're at. This is way before Uber.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't even have I don't think that I had a cell phone that actually worked over there. So we had to get to we literally flagged down a taxi cab. Mm-hmm. Which, all the taxi cabs are not, friendly yellow cabs that you would see in New York. No, they're big black, massive town cars that maybe it's a taxi cab or maybe it's your hearse.
Right. Yep. Yep.
So we fly down a taxi cab and hope to God that it's not a old Jack.
Right.
Prowling the streets again. But yeah, fun times. Yeah, lots of excitement in London.
Well, and that's what we went. We were down there for 2 days in London, and I mean, literally, we probably could have spent the whole 2 weeks. We were there for 10 days total. We could have spent the whole 10 days just in London.
Yeah,
in between
easily
sightseeing. So we did that. We rode a tour boat down the Thames, which really is pretty terrific because you can see you see like Tower Bridge and the Tower of London and the London Eye and et cetera, et cetera. So you see like all this stuff it's kind of surreal, really. Like especially the London the Tower Bridge.
Yes, you should actually throw a link in. Find a link of the Tower Bridge versus Tower of London, because most people actually get those two confused.
Oh yeah,
When they say London Bridge is coming down, it's
yeah,
not the one with the two
right.
towers.
Well, there's a funny story, I think you probably know it, about the American who bought the London Bridge,
Yes, that is
thinking he
now in.
was getting the Tower Bridge. Very disappointed, you would imagine, when he got a normal bridge. So,
It's a case in point for due diligence.
well, there you go. You should look at it.
That's right. Did you go to the Tower of London?
Yes, but we didn't go inside. So,
So next time you go back, I highly, highly recommend that. Get the pass, go inside, and do the whole. You can. I did because I'm kind of a medieval history buff anyway. But you could literally spend days in there. I spent an entire day.
Yeah.
Just kind of walking around the grounds and kind of exploring, because you have so many different buildings there. You get to see the crown jewels and then the actual tower itself is mostly a museum of medieval and dark age armor through the present day.
Oh, okay.
It's really, really cool.
Okay. No, that's good. We did a tour called the London Dungeon, and that was pretty good. That was like one of the top rated things on this website I was using to get these tours. But that was one of the so that was similar, where they walked you through the history of England and showed you a lot of the torture devices.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So pretty good. But the Tower of London tour, my sister's husband recommended we go on it, and I think one of the reasons we didn't is just what you just said, that I didn't want to spend a whole day on anything. Do you know what I
mean? Like you would get there, and the tour itself is maybe an hour or something. You get one of the beefeaters will actually do the tour, and those guys are worth it anyway.
Yeah.
And they're kind of colorful, pageantry outfit, or whatnot. But but you get there and you're like, wow, this is really cool. Let's cancel the rest of the day and walk around here. And
we did go to we went to Greenwich. So you've heard of Greenwich Mean Time, and so we spent a morning in. It was actually where our hotel was in Greenwich. So that's right on the Thames. But that was pretty good. So we took pictures like on the Prime Meridian, and we saw.
Oh, nice.
It's a lot of that history and stuff like that. We could have spent a long time there as well. Almost everything we did, we could have spent a lot longer at.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much if you're interested in any area, you could probably find an excuse to spend quite a bit more time.
Oh yeah,
there's never enough time.
No, that's true.
Yeah, very cool.
So but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So I will tell you that I did almost no work. Well, no, I didn't do any work at all. I did almost no work on any type of goals or goal setting or anything like that. So really, it was pretty nice to just do nothing for 2
Yeah, sometimes absolutely. I shot a lot of video for YouTube.
Oh, did you?
Over the break, but I haven't actually produced it yet. So I got a lot of raw footage that I need to go through and turn into videos. But I think I have enough footage to make close to 10 videos.
Oh, that's good. What are they about?
Well, I told you that I was making or that I was building an AR-15.
Yes.
And so, I finished that. So
really?
So I have, the footage of me building and so little videos on, how to install X component, so like a little 3-minute video. So between the 3-minute videos and then the larger videos, I think I have enough footage for close to 10 videos.
So that's been so I'll just, if I can interrupt you, that's one of the things that I've been thinking about and I think we agree. You think it's better to have a 3, 4, 5-minute video on this piece goes to this piece done instead of a 20 or 30-minute video of this and that, all the pieces.
Well, I'm going to do both, because I have enough of, why not? As I'm making the longer video, I can just save and say, okay, here's the shorter video. Put the intro and outro in, and save and upload it, and boom. So I could do all of the small videos first, and then kind of dub over, voice over a longer one.
That's good.
Kind of explaining the process, and that way, if someone wants to watch the whole, and then what I was going to do is I was going to put them in different playlists. So a how-to playlist, and then like a project playlist.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So that's kind of where I land on that. But yeah, in general, I think that the smaller videos are.
I will be interested to see analytics and see that. I think that Google likes when you have more of your video watched, right? So I mean, if people are watching like 95% of your video, I think they bubble those up to the top.
Yes, I've read that, and certainly those smaller videos that are 3 minutes or whatever, are going to get a much higher completion rate.
Yeah, right. Because it was so much easier. You know what I mean?
Right.
3 minutes can just happen, whereas 30 minutes, maybe I'm just going to watch 4 or 5 minutes of it. I'm going to find
yeah. So we'll kind of see. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I think that I have a Google spreadsheet that kind of details out all these different videos that I plan to produce. So I have right at 30 titles that I think
pretty good.
I think I can get to. So that's pretty nice. Like I said, it's just really coming up with the time now to put everything together, and at first I was thinking, well, I'll put out a new video once a week. I don't even think that's, because we've talked about that with blogs before, kind of trickling it out. And I think that there's definitely something to be said about consistency, getting something out every week.
Yeah.
But, when you're doing like a big project, you do a build of some sort that's going to take a little bit of time, and you're going to have, more than an hour or so of footage. I think that you can dump, 4 or 5 of those. Of those videos in a week's time, so you come up with 3-minute videos in consecutive days. Put them all out there right away. There's no reason to wait 3 weeks to.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, because the new Boston, I've showed you that, who does those technical video, it's a lot of coding videos. He'll do that where he'll come out with part 1 through part 15 all at once. All of them will come out together.
Yeah.
Just like we were talking about, he'll do part 1 through part 15 of learning Ruby, for example, and
right.
5 or 6 minute videos, and there'll be 15 of these 6 minute videos of.
Well, and it's, because the part 1 through 15, he probably just sat down and recorded it just at the same time, so now, you're going to be editing the final product, at the same time. So why not just edit it, push it out, push it out?
Yeah, precisely. That is so. And really, I was hoping to do it this week, but I've just been kind of busy getting caught back up. But I think this weekend is going to happen. But I need to do the exact same thing and just come up with a list of 30 videos that that I want to do. So.
Yeah, so we'll see how. Oh, and then to kind of go along with that, I am to. So remember how I said practical preparedness before?
Yeah.
Well, Jess and I were talking, and amazingly enough, both of these URLs were available. So I bought them New Year's Eve. Nerd Preparedness and Geek Preparedness.
Oh, all right.
And so instead of a practical preparedness website, I'm going to do a geek preparedness website.
Yeah.
That essentially breaks down like emergency preparedness and puts it in context of like a role playing game. or something like that. So where,
Okay.
and I know that we've had discussions about World of Warcraft players before, but so imagine that where here you are, you take this little, maybe an online quiz or whatnot, or you're reading a PDF, and in order to gauge your level of preparedness for a power outage for 3 days, you're like, oh well, I need a level 2 well, and
yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so you have these different,
make fun of stuff all we want, but if it's popular, you know what I mean. It is.
That's right.
Popular, and it is a good way. I think it's fine to think about it, just fine. And do we make fun of it because we don't like it? Doesn't mean it's no good. Because
right.
You and I aren't personally into it.
But yeah, I think that there's some merit, and there might, and really, I think that you and I could probably be like, oh, okay, a level 3 fort. You're kind of looking around at the house, or level 3 armory. What is that? And how can I get there?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I need a shotgun and a concealed carry. All right.
Yeah.
And perfect. I'm there.
Right. How much ammunition is
right. So that's infinitely better than going online and clicks for gold or whatnot. Here, at least it has it's kind of a fun way to have your 72-hour emergency supply kit. So if an earthquake happens or whatever. So kind of putting some thought into how to do that, and but yeah, same goals as practical preparedness, except it's going to, I think that it will apply to just a different segment of people. It might be pretty interesting.
Oh no, I think that's pretty good. I think that's cool. It is amazing. You mentioned it, that we'll come across URLs that are available, that are things that are like, I can't believe this is available. Like this, things like
because everything is taken these days.
Yeah. Well, I think that people are just taking 2-word combinations and buying blocks of URLs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's a list of 1,000 words. Here's another 1,000 words, and just combine those together and buy all of those URLs, and I'll wait.
Yeah, because you might spend a grand and have 100 URLs, and I don't know, but someone did that way back in the day, obviously, and it certainly has paid off. For someone. Well, apparently Donald Trump buys everything with the Trump name in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he spends quite a bit, tens of thousands of dollars purchasing URL. So, good luck trying to find, dumpthetrump.com.
Oh, so he owns, of course, Trump sucks.
I would imagine so. Now
Trump, I'm sure he already owns.
Now I'm kind of curious, is Dump the Trump taken?
Oh, come on, of course. I'm sure. I wonder if he buys stuff with the Donald as well. I think that's fair.
Dump the Trump is absolutely taken, and it's a parking page right now.
Oh,
it says that it may be for sale by its owner. Oh, I doubt that.
I doubt that too. I think though, to do that defensively is just a waste of money, because
I completely agree.
If he is the president and you're trying to come up with, impeachtrump.com isn't available, I guess forget it. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
No.
I'll come up with something. Certainly I can. That's crowdsourcing, right? There's plenty of creative people who we can come up with something that we all know what it means.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I agree. If that's a lot of money and a lot of time and effort to take away some of the more dangerous ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the more negative ones. And I quite honestly, I don't even know if it's worth the time or effort.
I don't think so. Did he buy all the Trump Star?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, et cetera, right? Trump dash star, Trump dash star.
Right. Trumpshair.com.
Right. Like I said, I'm just coming, you know what I mean? And this is not even creative. Go to Reddit. I'm sure the Reddit community, we could come up with, 500 or 600 that he hasn't even considered. So, yeah, that is interesting, though, as defensively buying. I can remember when like BurgerKing.com was available and McDonald's.com, stuff like that was available. I remember those things being available.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the days where you could have made a lot of money.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, but I was like, well, shoot, if Burger King doesn't want their .com, why do I? You know what I mean? Like, who cares?
I remember, because I'm late to this whole web development thing, and for the longest time I had no idea how to. It was after college before I bought my first domain. During college, it was like there were 3 uses for a computer, and one of them was schoolwork, and the other 2 I don't want to talk about.
Well, one was gaming, right? You could play gaming,
right? And the third, we'll just leave it, to whatever you come up with.
Yeah,
it's probably Minesweeper.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, so I was I think I bought a .com sometime in the 90s. I have no clue what it was. I don't remember, but I mean, basically in the early 90s, that's when everything they were all available. Like I said, you could get but while BurgerKing.com was available, you wouldn't have been able to sell it to them. They can, you know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah, they just claim it. And
Right. So now if you could have come up with some other creative ones, now you could have made some money.
Yeah, exactly.
But how do you know? You know what I mean? Who knows? So people spend tons of money. I don't think it's a good investment to say, oh, there's a new TLD of .cam or what, right? I mean, I will buy everything I can possibly think of. That's a horrible investment.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah,
there was that 5-year period where you could actually make money speculating on domains.
Right.
You'd be better off going out and speculating on the next digital currency.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just still, I don't think I would do that, but
no.
To each their own.
That or trying to come up with movie titles and buying something themovie.com and trying to own all these or something. Yeah, but buying .coms and speculating like that is absolutely not a good investment. It's a complete waste of time.
Yeah, totally agree.
I was taking notes here. Yeah, so last thing I wrote was defensively purchasing .coms and how it's not a good investment. What else? What other? So in your list of 30 titles, there, do we have anything about interviewing interesting people? I don't really know how to get started.
In my list, I don't. So my list really revolves around mainly like review topics. Like I got all sorts of like gear that I can write a little review on.
Yeah.
Building that gun took up a lot of ideas there. So that was kind of a nice way to get a lot of videos out with the same topic. I figured that actually going out and firing that is probably good for another video or 2.
People like to have those videos.
So most of mine revolve like around knives, guns, and like emergency preparedness supplies, right? So I figured keep that very similar and get those first 30 out and see what happens.
Yeah, that's good thinking. I think that's good thinking. So yeah, kind of like the interviewing people. I mean, this is a whole different channel. That's a whole different, a whole different thing, right? And I'm struggling a little bit trying to come up with like how to plan that stuff, and and I can feel myself falling into where I'm just coming up with these channels and having zero content, and I'm just coming up with these ideas of channels. And
Well, and there's a lot of great ideas, and what I've kind of landed on, over the holiday break is coming up with video ideas that only require me.
okay,
Whereas, because if I have to go out and physically, interview someone, that almost sounds like work.
yeah,
And it's like, it's just this much more effort, that, it's like, am I going to really stick with it? So for me, getting those first 30 is pretty important, from a, just sticking with it type thing.
right.
Is it, this going to be a New Year's fad, or, is this something that, that I'm going to be able to stay excited with?
Yeah.
So, picking a topic that is, that you can just kind of sit down and riff off, 30 things that you want to talk about for 3 minutes.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's good advice to start or not, but it's been, I have a little sticky note on my computer that's helped me with that. Like every time I'm thinking, oh, I could do this, and this,
Yeah.
Read back just 30 videos, keep them in the same genre, related, regardless of what the channel is. I mean, because that Wayward Traveler channel could be about anything. I mean, I could go out and have different videos about backpacking, or
right.
Like you said before, going down to the pub and just going up and talking to people. So it could be about any of that, but just keeping it really, really super basic. I've probably gone overboard in what the video like the intro and outro, and I'm like, oh, I need a backdrop, or we got to have some lighting. Or
I don't think that's overboard. I think as long as you're not spending so much time, it doesn't get done. But if it's done,
yes.
It's done. Yeah.
So. Yeah, exactly. So, but that's the thing, So coming up with those 30 titles that you can create a quick 3 to 5 minute video on, and like you said, yeah, if you want to spend some time and money, getting lighting, or this, that, and the other, fantastic. But the important thing is you got to get those 30 videos in, and it really doesn't matter what it is. I don't think. I guess I would argue that having it about a topic that you actually want to talk about is
right.
Is probably the important thing.
Absolutely. I think the one key is to realize that we are not going to really make any money.
No, and I think that is absolutely it. You have to be of the mindset that this is absolutely a hobby, and if you're okay with it being a hobby, then
right. Yeah, don't do work because you're planning on hey, you're better off to go shovel people's driveways, or mow people's lawns. You'll make more money mowing lawns for the time you put in.
Yep. Your best case scenario, you might get a free product here and there.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe. Correct. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. And even that, who knows? Yeah. But yeah. So I've just reloaded my page, and this is case in point of why this isn't a business. It's a fun hobby. I have 3 videos and 7 subscribers. So it's like.
Yeah.
And I haven't done anything with it in a week, and no one cares, and that's fine. But I've gotten a few comments, which is fun.
That's really good, actually. I think that 7 subscribers in a month is
oh yeah, I'm kind of giddy about that.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
So, but yeah, it's totally just about having fun, and I guess it really, if you had a way of tying it in with a business, say you wanted to sell something, a PDF or something like that, having, I think that's the only way that you can't make money on I'll rephrase that. The average person would be, it would be very difficult to make money, ad supported YouTube.
Yeah.
I think that's a very poor business model if that's
and I think
what you're
that the
going
same
into.
can be said for blogging.
Yes.
You can't even afford gas for your car generally. Right?
No.
You'll be lucky if it pays for your $60 a year hosting.
Right.
So yeah, really, it needs to be doing it because I like it, and not saying, "Shoot, I have to make a video, or else, I
Yeah, I
or
can't
else I
pay rent.
can't pay my electric bill or something." Yeah. So yeah, absolutely, because you enjoy it and for no other reason.
Right. Yeah, if you have a little side website where you're selling some digital goods or whatnot, that this content is providing a means to get more eyes on that,
Yeah.
then I think that's pretty. That's pretty. That you're in the right space with that, because I think that you can certainly get a lot of eyes on it. Like you said, if you've optimized it well and you've kind of shared it around,
Yeah.
those short videos, people watch all the time for some reason.
So we've talked about it before, but the Entre Programmers podcast, where they talk about, and essentially they're not running any companies, they're not doing anything other than selling their product, or
Right.
their blog, what I mean, and their digital products, books and stuff like that. Actually, Charles Max Wood has the podcast network, but he's still just selling ads on it, right? And those guys, I think they were just talking about one that I listened to recently, their end of the year kind of wrap up. They were talking how they had made somewhere between $100 and $120 and $140,000, for the year. But I think that they worked a lot more hours than the 40 hours that I work for that money.
Oh, right. I would imagine so, and that's okay if you're doing something that you really enjoy, and it's not eating into your family time or whatever. It's okay to work longer or put more time and effort into it.
Yeah.
It's but certainly I don't hate what I do by any means. So it's like, I don't know who wins there. I mean, I'm pretty happy with doing my work, collecting some paychecks, and
that was my point. Is
some hobbies.
If you say, all right, I'm going to quit my job and start this company so that I can make money, only do it if you really like it. I mean, those guys I'm assuming they enjoy doing what they're doing,
right?
But if they didn't, and like I said, I enjoy what I do, but I don't think I would enjoy. I don't know. I go through phases in my life, but currently I'm not in a hustle phase, right? I mean, I don't enjoy hustling for a paycheck.
No, that's really difficult, and I've struggled with Fitter Me for that, because I have, Fitter Me is a SaaS product that's kind of ready to go, and it's just really difficult to kind of get in that mindset of trying to, hustle to get it to the point where it's self-sufficient, and mainly because it's outside of the area. I guess it's kind of outside of my comfort zone in a way too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any problem building it or anything like that. That's all technical stuff, and is enjoying. But now getting subscribers, now you're talking marketing and really putting something out there, and opening yourself up to feedback, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's a different skill set.
Yeah. So what? This is kind of, I thought of it a couple times here while we were talking about the YouTube videos. So another big part of another cool thing about making YouTube videos is getting comments and getting feedback and stuff like that. What do you think about maybe as a kind of as a business idea or whatever, is something where you could put out videos and people could easily comment back in video, right? I mean, because it doesn't happen in YouTube. You can't really, I suppose you could put a link to a different YouTube video, but you can't really have like this, like I said, we would need a pretty talented UX person to come up with how that looks on the screen. But it's like where, maybe, and it's limited, right? You only have 30 seconds to say what you want to say. And then the replies are only 8 seconds or something. You know what I mean? Like pretty short. And it's,
Well, and it's like, Twitter could absolutely do that now.
Yeah.
If they wanted to. If they implemented Twitter video, and that's exactly what that would be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, instead of 140 characters, you have 20 seconds.
Yeah. I think
Or
even 20 seconds is long, right? I'm
that
thinking
could be kind of
shorter. But regardless, yeah.
But but that would be it. Snapchat could probably facilitate something like that, because I think you can do a video in Snapchat. In fact, I know you can, because Gary Vaynerchuk is really bullish on Snapchat, and using that to build a brand and this, that, and the other. And it might be right. It could be that YouTube and actually that's something that could be interesting, using Snapchat for picking these little niches. I'd like the emergency preparedness niche because it's something that I'm kind of interested in, and it's a nice hobby that kind of goes along with backpacking and non-technical stuff. But with Snapchat, I think everything is much more condensed. So with YouTube, you can have anything. But with Snapchat, I think that you're limited to maybe a minute or 2 minutes or something. I don't know what it is, but I'm really just speculating there. But that could be really interesting. Now taking some of your YouTube content and repurposing it for Snapchat content, and or taking some of the super popular ideas that people have had a lot of big success with on YouTube that you're interested in anyway, and taking that content as idea and putting it out there in a Snapchat format.
That's true.
That could be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that actually might be something to look at over the next couple of weeks.
That's a good idea. Well, so how do you? I guess I don't understand Snapchat well enough. So then what? What do you do with once you start to get followers?
I honestly don't know. No, I'm right there with you. That I think that you may be following Gary Vaynerchuk and listening to some of his keynotes might give us some more ideas on that. But yeah, it's one of the it's not even a new platform anymore. Right. It's a couple years old now, but it's still something that people or big companies or celebrities or brands haven't really figured out how to use quite as well as like Facebook or Twitter.
Yeah,
and Facebook and Twitter took a long while to kind of catch on. I think you and I were in the same room when we first created Twitter accounts.
Oh, we were. Yep, I remember. Yep, I do recall that.
And we tweeted something out and said, "Well, this is interesting," and a little less polite than that, but and then that was that.
That was it. So, do we have anything on tap for next week? Should we plan anything?
In terms of like specifics, or just planning something?
Yeah, just planning something. I was saying, look at more. I would like to talk more about goals.
Yeah, we can probably do more of a goal, New Year's resolution type thing.
I like that.
Next week, and maybe revisit some of that Snapchat stuff, and kind of checking in with hopefully I'll have another couple of YouTube videos up before.
That'd be cool too. Yeah.
I doubt that since it is Thursday, but there's a chance that I'll get one or two edited, and
that'd be cool.
But I think for that build, I shot all my YouTube video or all the video on an iPhone 6.
Oh, really?
So
that's good.
So that should be pretty interesting, I think.
What do you use to hold it up again?
I don't have one in here.
Is it your Joby thing though?
It is, yes.
That's that bendable arm.
I used the Joby thing, and then I also have a Joby mount that'll obviously connects to that, but it'll also connect to just a normal tripod. So I used a combination.
Okay.
So
that's cool. So I have the Joby thing, but I don't have a mount that would hold my iPhone.
Okay. I don't have them handy, but next week I'll have links for I use two different mounts. And have you ever FaceTimed? Do you FaceTime with your family in England?
Holding the phone though. Yeah.
So obviously we FaceTime a lot with our family in Michigan and Ohio, and we found that using the Joby Gorilla Grip thing
Yeah.
and a mount or a clamp that fits an iPhone or an iPod Mini, not an iPod, an iPad Mini.
Oh, okay.
Works fantastic. So we put the baby down. We can set this thing up in all manners of configuration, and it's like, now it's baby FaceTime. We can walk away. And so mom, dad, watch the kid. Gonna go and unload the dishwasher real fast. Keep them entertained. And
well, give it 6 months, because then they're going to figure out how to control it, and they're going to hang up. So.
Grayson he does that already. He reaches.
Oh, does he know? Okay.
And he can. Well, he's more interested in grabbing the Joby thing.
Oh,
and shaking. But yeah.
Well, that actually would require another camera, but that I think would be a good video as well. You could put together. No, not that. I'm sorry, but a good video of how to record your videos. How you set up your camera and looking down and your stuff like that.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of
there really is not
videos that actually explain that, and I know because I've looked.
Yes,
and and having some of that behind the scenes. But that's the great thing with those Joby things, because we talked about it before. I have an iPhone 5 just sitting around, takes great video, or at least good enough video.
Yeah.
It's great for just that other perspective. You can set it up over here, let it run, and then you just edit out and use what maybe there's something there, maybe there's not. But
cool, that'd be good. Yeah, look at those next week.
Cool,
that'd be great. Okay, that'll do.
All right, have a good weekend.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, later. Bye.